it feels as though somebody's taken a bat to my upper traps. That's how it feels right now after doing front squats for the first time after 60 days not doing it at all. Yesterday I went hard at it. I hit the PR at 170, and then I did a 5x5 at 100 kilos. So I did a lot of volume after not doing it for quite a long time. 2 months, you could say that my body, my muscles have kind of forgotten about the exercise. And then you go back in, you do it hard, and then you basically get told from your body what this particular exercise is doing to your body. And I love these effects. So upper traps, middle back. So like, I don't even know I think they're middle erectors, maybe some traps. I don't really know. It's hard. It's just that middle portion, like right in the middle, center of the spine. That's really sore. So these two things are by far the sorest of my body. And then I have mild soreness in my obliques and my six-pack muscle rectus abdominis. So that's a lot of muscles touched. That's a lot of soreness that I'm feeling right now. And frankly, doing this overhead press was a challenge today. Raising these dumbbells overhead literally just made the pain kind of worse. The first few sets were quite bad. I started off with 5 kilos for sets of 20, worked up to I think 15 kilos for sets of 20, and then I went to 10s and 5s as the weights got heavy. After the third or fourth set, the soreness kind of went away a little bit, even though I'm feeling it right now. It's kind of weird when you warm the body up. It feels better. You almost kind of forget about the soreness. But tomorrow is probably going to even be worse for me. Soreness usually peaks around 48 hours after the session. Today is 24 hours and I am feeling it. So I like it. I like when this happens and I don't do something for a little while and then I do it and then I get told, then I feel exactly what this exercise is doing. Along the discussions that we've had about upper back strength and how it applies to deadlifts and squats and what exercises to use to strengthen that as an accessory, we talked about rows, we talked about front squats in particular, comparing them. And obviously rows do have a place, especially if you're in the bodybuilding kind of world. But I think front squats are more useful to me, especially now that I have this soreness in my body. I know I can feel exactly what front squats did to me. This is exactly what I need. Basically, this is exactly what I need to restore my deadlift to what it was. I kind of let go of the front squats, and soon after that, I started dropping strength in the deadlift. And I think that's because I started losing strength in that upper body, in that upper kind of thoracic extension muscles. It's funny because yesterday I did front squats for the first time. Today I've come in, I'm feeling sore. I'm feeling these, thoracic extensors. I'm feeling them. And so when I went to the deadlift, it was kind of like all of these muscles were on the map and I could literally just talk to them. It was like, okay, I need to activate this muscle now. And you guys will see, as I'm doing these deadlifts, I'm kind of looking up a little bit. I feel like my chest is up. That's a side effect of the front squats. I'm walking around all day today with this different posture because the front squats have that effect. Even after a session, straight after the session, I felt a difference. In the deadlifts, because I'm kind of looking up, it's kind of it's almost like a different leverage that I'm kind of playing with. And you'll see the 240, I'm not really happy with it. I set up for it as normal, but because I'm sticking my chest out and looking up, I misgrooved it, and you'll see the first push, the hips kind of rise early. So I don't know whether I need to think about how I set my feet up. Maybe I was too close to the bar. Maybe I was too far. But every time you make these technical changes, you need to kind of follow up with the rest of it as well. So it's interesting. Front squats are interesting. And, today I did both front squats and back squats. And, I worked up to 120 kilos on the front squats. I'm just so damn sore. I couldn't do anything really. Yesterday I did 170, today 120. So massive drop off, but I just don't have the strength in the muscles. They're just exhausted. But, I did 120, went to the back squat, and it was just so interesting to do back squats after doing front squats and after having all of these muscles kind of turned on, the thoracic extensors. It's so easy to do back squats, man. Like, it's unreal how easy it is. Because it's just the bar's locked in, man. It can't fall. Your hands are pushing it from one side and you've got the body on the other side. It's just a perfect groove, perfect trap for the bar. You can literally stand there all day. Of course, things get sore and whatever, but it's a perfect shelf for the bar. Whereas the front squat, it's literally the moment you unrack it, it's on. It's on. It's not when you start the eccentric. It's on the moment you grab the bar. So it kind of gives you a different appreciation of, what back squats are compared to what front squats are. Front squats are a different beast, absolutely different beast. I had trouble with the back squat today as well. Everything's freaking sore, right? Like I said to you guys already that my upper traps are so sore. Well, the bar in the back squat position sits on these muscles, and it was sore, man. Really, really sore. He's managed to do 200 kilos today. Tentatively, probably should have left it at 180. But I felt like the legs were all right. It's just the core. Actually, during that 200 kilo, when I kind of went down and halfway up, I felt the obliques. I felt the erector. I can't even think of it. Abdominis, the six-pack muscle. I felt that almost kind of like shiver, almost like tremble. It's interesting, we often talk about, do you need to do core work as a side? Do you need to do this? Do you need to do that? Well, I can tell you confidently that front squats train your six-pack abs. It trains your core, it trains your obliques, external, internal. I don't even know what's freaking sore, but I'm sore on the side. So this is where I love doing this, letting go of an exercise for a little while and hitting it hard and feeling what this exercise is actually offering me. Because when you're doing it often, every day, twice a week, 3 times a week, you kind of lose that soreness and you kind of forget what this thing is actually doing. So today I've basically been reminded again, the front squats do indeed basically hit everything. If you think about it, from the traps, upper traps, middle traps, lower traps, erectors, core, internal, external obliques, rectus abdominis, it's just insanity, man. It's such a challenging exercise. Whereas with back squat, because you don't have these requirements for thoracic extension, you can basically fold over if you wanted to. The bar's not going to go anywhere. Some of these muscles are not as switched on. It's just interesting. It's interesting. I'm thinking about Olympic weightlifters now and how much time they spend in the front squat position. I'm thinking about all the overhead work they do with the clean and jerk and the snatch. They're very strong overhead. Basically, they're strong overhead. And they're strong keeping their torso upright. These things feed each other. And this is one of the reasons why I did dumbbell press again today. After thinking about to do rows or to do what, I decided to go back to overhead press because, doing overhead press last few weeks, I'm feeling the serratus anterior. And if you guys know anything about serratus anterior, it controls your scapula. One of the exercises that people with winged scapulas are taught or recommended, exercises to kind of target the serratus anterior. I spoke about the push-up plus exercise. Serratus anterior is also called the boxer's muscle. It does that shoulder protraction. It basically controls the scapula. And if you think about overhead work, you need control of the scapula. You need that grounding. You need that musculature to kind of control the scapula as you're going overhead, because the center of weight, or the what's it called, the midline of the weight, I can't think of the term, goes upwards when you're pressing weight overhead. And so the center of mass, that's the word, the center of mass, it goes from like your hip level to maybe your, T12 level, because you're lifting weight over the top. And so that level of the spine, that's where all that musculature lives, the traps, the erectors, all that scapular controlling muscles. In fact, the first time I did dumbbell pressing, I felt like my lats got a workout. But when you palpate the lats, when you feel for the soreness, you can't feel it in the lats. It's the stuff underneath the lats, the underlying musculature underneath the lats, which is serratus anterior. Very, very sore. If you kind of feel along the ribs, that's sore. The serratus anterior is a weird muscle. It's kind of like a fan muscle. It kind of wraps you around. Interesting muscle. But I think the serratus anterior plays a part in that thoracic, stabilization, thoracic, basically stability when you are deadlifting. So this is how it works, man. It's kind of like a domino effect. I want to improve the deadlift. I've worked out thoracic extension is a key element. I'll do front squats. Front squats target the thoracic extension. Well, part of the thoracic extension, let's say on the other side, is serratus anterior, agonist antagonist. You got to train both of them. One is a retractor, let's say. One is a protractor. Thoracic extension, right? It's all that. So it's interesting. It's really interesting stuff. I'm kind of putting it all kind of together. But I am over the moon happy with what front squats did to my body. These muscles that I saw on me right now have not been worked for 60 days in this manner. And that is a wrong. That is a mistake by me. And I've made many mistakes during this program. And usually I try to learn from my mistakes. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 times to make the same damn mistake before I learn. But this time around, I've learned the importance of doing front squats. Because without front squats, you are basically kyphotic. You're rounding your shoulders. You need something in life that has you stick your chest out really, really hard. Like, it's at utmost importance to stick your chest out in this exercise, otherwise you fail, i.e. front squats. That's what the exercise is. The only other exercise I can think about that does that is overhead press, military press with a bar. Same thing. You have to stick your chest out to get better leverage to press that thing overhead. Because if you're round, you're going to be pushing it in front of you and then you'll fail, right? Because you can't be shifting the weight beyond the midline, the midline of the bar. Like, it needs to go up and down in a straight line. So military press and front squats both have this requirement for you to stick your chest out, for you to fight that thoracic extension, fight that position to get into thoracic extension. But if we start doing stuff like deadlifts, bench press, what are those exercises doing? They're rounding our shoulders further and further forward. We're not doing the reverse, right? So it's kind of like when you start thinking about these types of things, you start putting exercises into the same basket. Okay, military press, overhead press, and front squats live together. Which disciplines in barbell sports do these really well? Olympic weightlifters. They're pressing weight overhead and they're constantly in the front squat position. And what do I like about Olympic weightlifters? I love the way they squat. Fully upright, strong upper backs, deep, ATG. So see how you start kind of forming these ideas of, yes, we can all squat. Strongman squat, Olympic weightlifters squat, bodybuilders squat, general strength athletes squat. It's all squatting, but there's different styles, there's different flavors of squatting. I like Olympic weightlifting squats the most. That's what I love to see. I don't like low bar stuff. I don't like all that. I love a particular language. I love a particular color of squatting, and that's the Olympic weight squat, ATG. That doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing, but that's what I love. I said in the comments a few times to a few of you fellas, the reason I got into this whole mess of training was many things, but number one, the most important motivation, inspiration was that Klokov 250 kilo pause front squat. I've never seen anything more impressive to me, right? That's me. You might have different ideas. You might love the way Ray Williams squats or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what the motivation is. Like, as long as you have something that pushes you to go back into the garage or shed or the gym to put work in. But that's what I would love to see. Last night I'm sitting there rewatching the video of the 170. Watched it like 50 times trying to work out what was going on and what wasn't going on. And I thought to myself, man, what do I like more, front squats or back squats? And I thought, man, I got into all of this because of Klokov's 250 pause front squat. Man, that is the best thing ever. I've seen him back squat. I've seen a lot of people back squat. But front squats, man, the special, the kind of special lift, it's a different kind of thing because it requires even more mobility than a back squat. Yes, back squat, ATG, high bar, takes a lot of mobility to do that. But there's no real component of the upper body to do anything. With front squats, you got to have external rotation of the shoulder. You got to have really flexible, I don't know what the word is, mobile wrists, you have to have like all these things, like a full body mobility and strength expression. I like that, because a lot of people can't get into that front rack. A lot of people can't get into ATG. A lot of people can't do anything like that. And this kind of feel like the front squat is the perfect blend of what I like to see. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting kind of to sit back and think about, what do I want my front squat to be? I said 300 kilo back squat is my dream. I don't even know if I'm going to get there, but that's my dream. Is 250 front squat the other dream that I never realized? I saw Klokov do 250 pause, and I'm like, that's a beautiful thing. And then I go and say 300 kilo is my back squat. How come I never mentioned the front squat? Interesting. Sometimes you kind of look at yourself and you think about some of the things that you said, and you question them, and you kind of go over them. Man, like I said, the most impressive thing I've ever seen is 250 kilo pause front squat. The way he did it, you know, the music in the background, like the whole scene, the whole video was just like unreal. Loved it. That's it. That's what I wanted to say. You know, front squat or back squat, what's more impressive? We're all going to have different likes, just like we have different likes of colors and cars and whatever. But I reckon that 250 Klokov squat is it's as good as that shot by Michael Jordan, where he was floating from the right to left and he hit that buzzer beater. That's a beautiful thing. All right, guys, that's it from me tonight. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you, everyone on the Patreon list, YouTube, comments, Instagram. Appreciate all of you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.